Slack and E-Major welcome you to the My Type of Hype podcast, where we celebrate hip-hop, not just the hype.
How y'all feel out there?
Oh, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to the My Type of Hype podcast. Me, your boy Slack in the building as per usual. And my co-pilot, co-defendant. What's happening, bro?
E-Major, we here, man. My Type of Hype, the podcast that celebrates hip-hop and not just the hype. Slack, you good?
Bro, I'm all good. And as you could see, we got a very special guest in the building
Yes.
this week. Very much happy and blessed to have Grap Luva in the building. How you doing, bro?
Yes, man. Nothing but love.
Love and blessings to all, man. Grap Luva, the youngest soul brother in the building. I hail from a small town in New York called Money Earning Mount Vernon, home of the King Heavy D, home of another king named Pete Rock, home of another king named Trouble T. Roy, Troy Dixon. We got Denzel Washington coming out of there, Dick Clark, Deja Stevens from the Olympics. You know what I mean? We got so much beautiful talent coming out of that small town. Shout out to my brother Rob O. He is currently the fire chief of Mount Vernon, New York. One of two in the state of New York. One of two black fire chiefs in the state of New York. So shout out
to Rob O, man. Salute to Rob O.
Yes, man.
Yeah, and
big.
It's still blazing too. So we're doing all of that.
I'm gonna ask you about that later on. Don't you worry.
No doubt.
Oh, that's brilliant, man. From the bottom of our hearts, man, we want to just give you a massive shout out and just thank you for taking the time out to join us here, man. You know, love from the UK. We chop it up on the timeline all the time, man, but it's a privilege to have you on the podcast and that, man. It's a special moment, so we appreciate you, man. So we're just going to talk today, throw some questions at you, get to know you a little bit more for the watchers, the listeners, same thing for them. So we're just hoping to bring everyone into your world a little bit more, man. So yeah, it's a privilege, man. So thank you once again.
Humble, man. Appreciate it, man. Thank you guys for having me. You know what I mean? Like, it's a blessing when people want to actually know more about you and really want to talk to you and, you know, get to know you better and get to know what really makes you tick and things of that nature. So that's always a blessing for me. So I'm ready to share a few things. So let's get into it.
Yes.
That slides in perfectly, bro. So I know you, he knows you, we know your work, massively respect, you know, that the magical project that you dropped as part of the Mighty I&I. Could you just tell the listeners who may not know you, may not know your contributions? I know who your family is. A lot of the viewers may not. So if you can just let the people know how you started, that would be great. Just a little intro to who Grap Luva is.
Most of it was a lot of me dealing with entertainment period was inspiration. Watching others, you can go back to James Brown. When we met James Brown, myself and my brother, I'll tell you who he is in a few seconds. But myself and my brother meeting James Brown and you know, Michael Jackson, and then it got real close when my cousin Dwight Arrington Myers, professionally known as MC Heavy D of Heavy D and the Boys, the legendary Heavy D.
Yes.
When we started doing his thing, you know what I mean, and we started seeing the industry part of it, the business part of it, the, you know, the inner workings of things. And then that, you know, back then it was a curiosity thing there too. So you went into it, you know what I mean? It wasn't like you were taught all of those negative things as well about the industry and how people can jerk you and people can, you know, do this, that, and the third. You didn't learn those things. It was just the fun of it and the creating stuff and like hearing yourself on the radio. Like those were big things back then. You know what I mean? So I can go back to the first time we heard Hev on the radio. You know what I mean? It was myself and all of us. We were at the park and Hev was there too. Somebody came in the park and said, "Yo, Hev, your record's on the radio." And we all ran out the park and ran across the street. Like it was up the block, and then across the street there was a store called Superstop. We all ran over there and we went in there, and it was turn the radio to BLS, yo. It was WBLS at the time, Mr. Magic.
Mr.
Turned it
Magic.
to Mr. Magic. Rest in peace, Mr. Magic. Turned to Mr. Magic, and sure enough, Mr. Big Stuff was playing. He was like, "Yo, turn it up, turn it up." So I turned it up, and we was in there like bugging out, giving them dap, and like going crazy and everything. So just that type of thing, inspiration, you know what I mean? And then seeing it right next to me, because my physical brother, who's a year older than me, Peter Phillips, better known as the legendary Pete Rock, one of
Yes.
the greatest hip hop producer of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so seeing him do his thing right next to me is more inspiration, you know what I mean? And then bringing Rob Owen to the fold is like spreading the inspiration. You know what I mean? So I was literally a conduit between myself and I mean between not myself between Pete and Rob, because he was making beats. I would tape them here and there, and then I would bring the beats to Rob and like, yo, listen to this, listen to that. You know what I mean? And then we ended up doing this one song called Crossroads, and the demo version was over a beat Pete had made that I had put on tape for him, and he had made it literally for like, yeah, Rob could mess with this, you know what I mean? So, it was he had just looped up "Bet You Wouldn't Hurt Me," Quincy Jones.
Quincy Jones.
He flipped it and looped it up or whatever, and Rob wrote Crossroads to it, and the way that I ended up even rapping alongside Rob was he had asked me to spit a verse from Crossroads that he wrote. He's like, "Yo, spit this verse." He's like, I don't want to, I want to break my voice up. You know what I mean? I don't want to hear me through all the whole song. So he's like, "Yo, spit this verse right here." And I was like, "You sure, man?" He's like, "Yeah." So he had a little 4-track in his room with a mic and everything, and we would do stuff like that. And he had me spit that verse, and then that's kind of how it kind of started a little bit, because in the beginning I really wasn't looking to be a part of I&I.
Okay.
The whole thing was it was me bringing the music to Rob. You know what I mean? I wanted to see Pete and Rob get together.
Right.
You know what I mean? But then we had our friends. He had a friend named Rasan. I had my homie Marco, who we now call Jolo. I had him with, he was kind of with me, and then we all came together as friends, you know what I mean? And then that's how that came about. But then when it really went getting ready to go down, at first we was gonna sign with Hev in Uptown. They wanted to, rather, Rob and them wanted to kind of, they got a contract from Hev. Rob, I think Rob was basically the one why Hev gave them the contract, is Rob. And then they came to me. I was in school. I was in college at the time. They came down to my school. That's a whole nother ill story how they got there. It was like Hoopty, and the Hoopty died, and my school was in Maryland. The Hoopty died in Delaware, and some big dudes ripped the license plate off for it. Was a whole bunch of crazy stuff that went on. But they got to me, and they got to me for me to tell them like, nah, I'm not gonna sign with that. That I'm not gonna sign that. I'm gonna wait, and I'm gonna rock with Pete. You know what I mean? And let's see what's going on. I think Pete got something going on. So from there, they was like, all right, cool. So they didn't sign the Hev contract, and then we end up going with Pete. But the thing was, when we went with Pete, I initially was like, nah, I don't think I should be a part of it, because I didn't feel like I had anything to contribute to the group, because I wasn't writing like that then, and I really wasn't. I was interested in the drum machine, but I hadn't been like steadfast on it as of yet. This was like maybe early 95, like, because I started messing with it like 94, like 93, 94, the SP, and just messing with it here and there and trying to make stuff. And then when I finally like really locked in with it was like in 95, but I still wasn't confident in what I was doing with it. So I felt like I didn't have much to contribute to the group. So they convinced me. So I was like, all right, cool. So then we all went with Pete with the Soul Brother Electra situation. And we did a whole album, you know what I mean? We did a whole album. The first time they put us in the studio, I was the producer. Pete was like, yo, y'all just go in there and go, make some, go make a song basically. And I'm like, whatever. So I had this beat. That I made it was terrible. It was a terrible beat. It was real slow and dreary. It was like, and it's funny because the same sample sped up was the sample for How High, the remix.
Right. Okay.
Fly, Robin, Fly.
I slowed it down, and it was like real dreary, and the beat was terrible. And the session was crazy. I didn't really know what I was doing, and the engineer, I don't know, I probably drove him crazy that night. There was a whole lot going on. So then right after that one joint, Pete came in, and that's when we officially started the album. And then I was going to his house making beats. And in the middle of us doing the album, I made Step Up Time. I made that beat. And he was like, yo, this beat is dope. Yo, y'all should use it for the album. I was like, okay, bet. So, because I made it at his house. And we took it down, recorded it. Jamie Staub, the engineer, he spent a little extra time mixing it. He said he really loved the beat. So he spent a little extra time mixing it, perfecting and everything. And that was the one track that I produced on that album.
On the album, yeah.
Because the rest, a lot of the album was produced by your brother, right?
Yeah, every song on there was produced by him except Step Up Time. That was me. Except the scratches. I don't know how to scratch, so he did the scratches on Step Up Time. And the illest thing about those scratches is on the SP1200, they have something called trigger sampling, where the minute a sound goes into the drum machine, it samples it. Right? So trigger sampling, he trigger sampled himself scratching. So the scratches you hear on Step Up Time are coming out of a SP1200.
Oh wow.
But they're samples. That's him scratching. That's like him. He sampled them
live scratching,
and then played them back through the drum machine.
Yeah.
So and if you hear the pattern of the scratches, it was an ode to Gangstar. It was like a shout out to Gangstar because I'm a big Gangstar fan.
Right.
And he's a Gangstar fan. We a Gangstar fan. You know what I mean? So it was a shout out to them. You know what I mean?
That's dope.
Yeah.
I'm gonna listen to the song in a whole new way now.
Of course, man. Definitely.
Yeah. When you hear those scratches, those are sampled scratches. Those are samples. He's playing it back in a drum machine. Yeah, all of them, like it's pocket. Yeah, they're samples. The samples of him, but they're samples of him scratching. He sampled himself scratching. Yeah.
So I think everyone will want to know about the I&I album because it's kind of a mythical album when it comes to hip hop. Because you couldn't go to the shop and buy it. You had to be in the know to know about that album.
Yeah.
So I knew about the album. I'm sure he knew about the album.
Yeah.
I heard Faking Jacks. Faking Jack video came on Yo MTV Raps, and I was like, "Yo, what is this?" It was crazy, and
I still got the beat tape. That he sent it, that he gave it to us on. I still have that tape.
Wow,
man.
He's on there going 1 1 2 1 1 2 2 1, and it's going ding 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 ding. Loud, like, yo, my God, yo, and those drums, yo, like nobody has flipped Impeach the President like that ever, like ever. That's the illest flip of Impeach the President ever. Like I give Primo Unbelievable, like, you know, he used him straight up, like, pretty much, but the flipping of those drums, I haven't heard anybody flip them better than that yet.
He's mega talented at that, flipping the drums and manipulating voices and samples.
Yeah.
Crazy, like untouched.
Yeah, I have that beat on tape still. That beat, that Faking Jacks. But when we did the song, I was a little reluctant about it because I didn't want people to think that we were dealing with like thug energy, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
deep sample.
But it's funny. But then it's funny because I listened back to the album and I'm like, yo, I was popping mad trash. What was I thinking, yo? And I hated rhyming. Like I would have rather made beats than rhyme. And I don't know what it was, but every rhyme I said on that album, man, I was talking trash. I don't know if it was because I knew what was going on around me. I don't know. I heard stuff. I don't know, but yeah, we'll talk a little more about that whole energy right there. But
it is a dope project, though, man. There's no doubt about that. It's a shame. Obviously, it didn't come out when should have or could have or whatever, what have you. But no, it's a dope project. There's no doubt about
that. That was Electra, man, and that whole Sylvia Rhone energy.
Talk to me about Sylvia Rhone, Grap. Talk to me about Sylvia Rhone, because
at the time, I think at the time we were being looked at like she wanted something like a probably equivalent to like a bad boy type energy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
She was thinking that maybe she had in her corner a bad boy type of guy like in Pete Rock, and Pete Rock is a soul brother.
That's right.
Bad boy, he's a soul
Right.
brother. You know what I mean? It's a difference. So she didn't realize that. So that's what I think it was. She didn't have that because you had Buster there. He was doing like commercially type stuff. Missy was doing commercial type stuff. And then you have one of the greatest, if not the greatest, hip hop producer of all time in your pocket, on your roster. And you probably wanted him to do something really pop like, and that's not him. Like he speaks from the soul with his music. You know what I mean? His music is one with the Most High. You know what I mean? It's not a devil shake me up type thing, or I'm rocking with the demons. I'm rocking with the low energy, the low vibes. Nah, his is high vibration music. You know what I mean? I think she was like, nah, I don't need that. I need that low vibration.
It was a time as well, weren't it? Around that era, we talk about this all the time. That time in hip hop was just, it was hard to break through stuff like that.
That whole Puff era, that whole thing was right there. Like we were right there with them. Like we were going to Bad Boy. Like we would go over there. We had friends. My homie Groovy Lou was over there. My homie Tinker was over there. People who from Mount Vernon worked over there. So we would go over there from Soul Brother, from the offices of Soul Brother Records. Robbo and myself, we would walk over there, you know what I mean, and go hang out with them and kick it with them, and go to the Christmas party there and all of that. Yeah, so we were right there coming up with that.
You must have had a relationship as well, because obviously Hev and Puff,
yeah,
they must have had a relationship with Uptown and all that stuff going on.
In the beginning, you know what I mean? Like, they communicated, Pete and Puff, you know what I mean? They spoke to each other cordially and things of that nature. They weren't like calling each other and let's hang out and do da da da. It wasn't that, but it was cordial and mutual respect there. You know what I mean? But as the years went on, he got larger and larger in life, and and lower and lower and lower in morality and but that's neither, that's a whole nother chapter in the book. But yeah, that we was walking amongst them, that brother. You know what I mean?
That's dope.
Like,
so
we were, sorry, not to cut you off, but when we were younger, I used to. One time me and him linked up, and we were supposed to be like dancers, like trying to create a dance routine to market to like videos and to get in videos and stuff like that. And I did a move he couldn't do, I think that's the thing. Just keeping it a book. When a movie comes in,
Bro, you never
Hey,
need to see footage of that.
young of that. Yeah, that was young of that. Because we both, I even asked Hev to work at Uptown at the same time he was trying to get up in there. And
right,
Hev was like, nah, you go ahead, go to school, like, you know what I mean? Or stay in school. I think I just started going to school with my cousin who was his brother, Floyd.
right.
He brought me down to college with him, and I started going to college. So he was like, and I was coming home and asking, he's like, nah, just stay in school, you good, you good, stay. But Puff was very persistent, and then he introduced Puff to Andre, and the rest is history.
How was that? Cool.
Mm.
I'm really intrigued about Sylvia stuff, bro, because I was listening to Rod Digger talking not too long ago on Mass Puff.
Math Alpha?
Right.
Mm.
She was talking about the Flipmo Squad. They were on Electra. They were one of my favorite crews. In and around sort of the same kind of time. I think they came out around '98 when the album actually.
No, yeah.
After that
After
whole
you
Soul
guys,
Brothers.
right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So they obviously got dropped as well because when Electra folded, Buster was trying to shop around and get another deal. And obviously you guys were on Electra, so around that time they were looking for something different. I don't know what, but they obviously didn't see what everybody else saw in that album. So how did that contribute to I kind of falling apart after the first album not coming out as it should have?
Us kind of like not. That was internal, us falling apart. I think that was more internal than anything because I think we didn't recognize what we really had as a group. And what we had as as brothers, you know what I mean? I think it was a lot of misunderstanding of business that really affected us as a group of I&I.
Yeah.
Because it kind of just split, you know what I mean? Down the middle, the two of us who kind of the general public was saying had more of the talent, we stayed together, and then the other two went and they formed another group called I&I Mighty Lockdown. So that was Jolo, I Love, a brother named Daru, and I think another brother was involved as well. Hassan, I'm not sure, but they were I&I MLD, and then Robo kind of just went solo, and I went back to Pete's basement, and I just started making beats, you know what I mean? But that thing with us coming apart, it did. That was the catalyst to hold them, deading the Soul Brother deal.
Right.
Dead in that deal. That was the catalyst, but the other part of it was that us not realizing what we actually had. And sticking with it, you know what I mean? It was going at one point, Rob and Pete were doing joints. Rob was writing for Pete for a couple joints for Pete, and then some joints he was writing alongside Pete. Pete would write himself, you know what I mean? Like he had a song that he wrote for Pete called Greenbacks, that they never released. They did a song together called War that they never released in So Many Rappers. They did release that through BBE. They released that. But yeah, it was things flowing, but then I don't know what happened with Rob and Pete. They kind of separated, and I just kind of went back to the drum machine.
Right.
Basically.
Yeah, of course.
In the interim of that, like as we were quote unquote breaking up, I guess, I had a beat and Rob had some rhymes, and it was like almost like how high, like you got a blunt, oh yeah, I got weed, all right, boom, let's make this button. Beats, rhymes, Wanderlust. That's where that came from.
Right.
To me, Wanderlust was like Robbo's Dear John letter to the group.
Right.
Okay.
And it was interesting that I had the sonics for that, you know what I mean? But it became a classic, you know, an underground classic, so to speak.
Definitely.
A lot of people who know like underground rap really enjoyed that song.
For sure.
Um, and he did that, and then he started doing more solo stuff after that. And then I started doing stuff. I started making beats, and then I ended up coming up with Half Man, Half Amazing. One night, that was the night Pete was going to Future Flavors, which was the radio show he had on Hot 97 with him and Marley Marl. He's like, "Yo, Grap, I'm on my way to Future Flavors. You want to come with me?" I was like, "Nah, I think I got something here. I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna chill." He's like, "All right, I'll see you when I come back." So he went. I finished the beat up. Played it back for him when he came back. He fell in love with it. He was like, "Yo, I want to use it, but I just want to change the drum sounds. That's it, just the drum sounds." I was like, "All right, go ahead, do it. Do what you do. I know you know drums. Go ahead, get it." So he changed the drum sounds, and then he did the little and the scratches, of course. And then he said, "I'm gonna get Method Man to rhyme on it." I was like, "Word, all right, cool."
Yeah, the big tune, man.
Came back to Maryland. My daughter was born by this time, so I was back and forth between New York and Maryland. So I came back, spent some time here, then I went back, and then he had the song done. He's like, "Yo, Grap, check this out." Played that joint for me. It was like, whoa, this was like bugging out. Like, yo, I can't believe you got meth right.
Nah, it's dope. It's a dope song, man. Now for real.
You know, I'm not even thinking like Loud Connect. Like he got the Loud Connect now, so it's whatever. You know what I mean? So
yeah, because the Soul Survivor albums came out on Loud.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then the addendum to that little ditty right there is we went to Loud Records, me and Pete, and they were literally doing the artwork the day we got there. And I literally walk up to the dude who's doing the back cover artwork, and he's literally doing the credits for Half Man, Half Amazing. And I was like, it said produced by Pete Rock. And I think I was like, yo, I said, nah, that was produced by me, co-produced by Pete Rock. He's like, word?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's how. I said, that's the credit. He said, oh, all right. So he switched it. And I was like, bet. I was like, thank you. So that was a blessing, you know what I mean? And then when Pete saw it, he was like, all right, yeah, you right. Like, yeah. You know, big brother stuff. You know, he had to do the big bro flex first, you know, like, hold up. He's like, all right, yeah. So he did gave it the big bro approval and everything. And I got my credit, you know what I mean?
No, that's dope. Yeah. So that actually leads me to a question, actually. Obviously, you speaking about coming up, how Pete was influential and you guys hearing the music and everything like that. But would you say between yourselves there was much sibling rivalry, or was it more just sort of inspiration? Or did you ever feel like, I want to do this and match what Pete's doing? In a good way, of course, but, you know, like some healthy sibling rivalry. How was that?
It was never a sibling rivalry for me. Never that, yo. It was always inspiration, looking up. You know what I mean? Like trying to just hopefully keep up, you know what I mean? And hopefully create that's, you know, that will make him proud, you know what I mean? Like make him
of course.
Things and like, you know what I mean? I ain't never was there to try to scare him or none of that, or I'm coming for your ass. None of that.
Of course.
It was always like in awe, just always in amazement. Enough times I've come, you know, this was the flow. We'd get up, play some NBA Live or whatever. Then, you know, he'd be like, all right, I want to go, you know, I'm going to go digging or whatever. All right, man, boom. So we go down. And that's hours, bro. Like him digging.
Of course, man.
Hours, bro. So I would just be in there, like just looking at records and, you know, while he digging, you know, I would walk off and go get something to eat and come back. He's still digging. He got 2-3 tickets on the car and, you know, he don't even give a damn. He just like this, you know, you know, everything that's going on is worth these 4 or 5 records that I'm about to find and make some craziness with. So then we'll do that. Then we go, all right, we go uptown, go get some ganja or whatever. You know what I mean? Then all right, we going up the way, you know what I mean, up to his house. And then boom, we go to his house. He give me all the tools. You know, I go roll, twist and roll, whatever. He go downstairs. We go downstairs. He cut the machine on, and then boom, I blow. So we blow down something, and I'm sitting there, and I'll zone out, fall asleep or whatever, and wake up an hour later. And he's, you know, I'll fall asleep to him, you know, truncating something or doing something, and I'll fall asleep, and then I'll wake up. He's doing the same thing. I'm like, yo, hold up,
Ridiculous.
The other beat? He's like, man, this is my fourth beat, yo. I'm like, what? And then he, hold up. And he saved what he got right there. They play the other 3 beats for me, blow my head off. Boom! Like, yo, you crazy? Yo, when'd you make this? Just now? Yeah, I just made it, yo. You know, this stuff like that. Like one time,
love that.
One time we were at the house playing live. This one I was good at NBA Live. I used to get on him, like I used to get on his tail. So I was getting on his tail, and he was like, "Oh man, Dad, yo, I got studio, man." I was like, "Are you serious, man?" He's like, "Yeah, nah, for real. I got studio for real. I got studio." I was like, "All right." So we had to cut the game off. Boom. So we go downstairs. I know we get dressed. We already, you know, did what we did. So we just threw on our clothes because we already dressed, you know, for the day. So we just threw on our clothes, whatever, sneakers, whatever, went down. And then he goes down into his basement and just stands in front of the machine. He stands there for like two minutes, maybe 2 minutes. All right. And then he just starts grabbing records. Boom, boom. First record he grabbed. I was like, what the hell is that? Then he started, boom, then he grabbed something, boom, boom, grabs the drum, bop, 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 grabs the bit, put a bass line on it. Das Effect's Real Hip Hop Remix.
Yes.
The Door.
Yes. Love that.
15 minutes on the SP1200 down, not no MPC or none of that. None of that.
Man, it's crazy.
SP, you know what I mean? Like 10 seconds of sample time, and he made something in 15 minutes. Made that beat.
Wow.
15.
I love that beat so much as well. Crazy. Man.
Yeah. 15 minutes. Yo, literally. He just stood there. He was like, all right, start grabbing stuff.
Yeah, that's mad.
Boom, ding, 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 ding. I was like, whoa. That's some hell shit. He caught that, and he went back. He got the drums together, and he rocking the drum, and he hit the bass line. He started hitting the bass. I was like, ooh, there it goes. And next thing you know, he was like, all right, saved it. All right, we out. Down to the studio.
Wow. So when he made that, he didn't make it specifically for Das. He just made the beat.
He made the beat. He knew. I think he had the tempo, and he made the beat. Like he made it right there.
He didn't have it like it wasn't like Das.
He said he had studio. So I don't think it was like he went down there and was like, I'm gonna make this for, you know, he said, I'm gonna make a dope beat. Like I'm gonna make a dope beat for a remix. Like, and it was for Doc, you know what I mean? He you know, he knew who he was going to do the remix for.
Right.
So that inspired him in how the track came out. But when I watched him do it, he just went down and he stood there, and then he started, all right, bet. And he started grabbing shit and making a beat. And he made it.
Incredible, man.
Later, like he was just made to do that, right? He just made it.
I've seen him do it multiple times, man. Multiple times. Crazy.
What would you say is your favorite beat from him? I'm gonna put you on the spot now. If you had to pick a beat that you say is your favorite from him, what would you say?
Oh, that's tough.
I got so many, yo. I got so many. I got joints y'all ain't even heard. Like
that's what I could imagine.
Man. Man.
I got this joint that I call Drumnastics, where he just, it sounds like he's a live drummer in the SP1200. Like it seems like the way he flipped up. Oh yeah, Drumnastics. I won. Nah, you're not even being.
All right,
fair.
let's make it a bit easier. Let's go for free.
Can you top free?
You're not even being fair to me. I need 10. But 3 off the head. I'll say 3 off the top. This one I call it Drumnastics. I got it right here with the SP. I call it Drumnastics. He flipped Summer Madness and like Nautilus or something. It's called Drumnastics though. The drums, when you hear the drums, how he programmed the drums in that joint. What's another joint? I always love In the House.
Yeah, that's my favorite song off Main Ingredient. You know, trust me, love it.
And his rhyming on that record, like, oof, the way he rhymed on that, the way Pete rhymed on that record. And then In the House, and then man. Oh, Girls They Love Me. Girls They Love Me. Because he made that beat.
Okay.
Yeah, he made that that's a pause button beat.
Oh wow, that's Q-Tip style, right? The pause button. That's the way he used to beat. Right.
It's not really Q-Tip style, but it's a style that producers who didn't have the equipment, that's the style they came up with.
Right.
Make them pause button beats.
Yeah, I've heard Q-Tip talking a lot about making the pause stuff.
Pete was doing that in like 88. He started that like 87, 88.
That takes a lot of patience, man. And you have to know exactly what you're listening for to make it work. Yeah.
Yes.
That's dope.
Yeah, man.
Once everything kind of ended with I, and because you were saying that you weren't too confident in like rapping or making the beats. So once everything kind of ended, how did you feel? Like, did you want to continue rapping or making?
I wanted to continue making beats.
Okay.
But I think what I did on that album kind of made people want to hear me a little more. You know what I mean?
Of course.
So I ended up having people request my services to rhyme and on records and guest appearances, stuff like that. Yeah, I've even had people where they named their song "The Life I Live." You know what I mean? And have me on it. You know what I mean? So
yeah, because that was meant to be the album title, wasn't it? At first, was it?
No, that is the album title.
Right.
The title
of the
album is "The Life I Live." That album that y'all got, even from BBE, that's not the album.
Right. Okay.
The album.
Nah, that's not the official album. I got the official album.
Is it totally different to the one that we?
Yeah, it has interludes and all of that. Yeah, it has interludes and all of that. Like,
so why didn't we get the proper thing when it did come out? Still, why is it still changed?
I don't know. Somebody bootlegged it. Bootlegged it. They must have got the what's the face, the DAT of, because back then it was the DAT of the album,
right? And
took the DAT of the album and then put that little bull crap Bob Marley intro on it. And all that.
You never approved none of that stuff.
That's insane. That's insane.
That's not us. Like, none of that.
That's insane.
No.
Wow.
I mean, no disrespect of course, never no disrespect. Rastafari, love always,
of course.
Rastafari and brethren, but just the fact that it's like a marketing employee, you know what I mean? Like, don't use Bob as a marketing employee for Rastafari.
Especially if you guys didn't approve it. That's crazy.
Yeah, we don't deal like that. You know what I mean? We don't deal like that.
I did not know that.
News to me. I never knew that.
Exactly. I did not know that, man. Yeah, I thought we got the real product.
That's a bootleg, man. That's out there.
Wow.
Like,
so what about how do I pronounce this? Is it Dida or is it Dada?
Dida, baby pa. So DEE,
right?
DAH, Dida.
Right. So that album, is that the album that we should have heard? Is that correct?
The album. That's the album.
Right. Okay. Right.
So with that album, I think Pete just kind of put it together. He didn't put too many interludes in between it. And I don't think he put any interludes on it like how he did our album. But I think had he really sat with it, he would have he would have put interludes and stuff. But I think he didn't invest that kind of time in it because by the time it was by the time they finished recording it, him and D-Dot was like in two different places, like as far as
Okay.
business wise,
Creativity, right?
mentally, and stuff like that. You know, we were all young, man. We were all in our
Yeah.
20s, you know, still trying to find ourselves as men, you know what I mean? So
Of
going
course.
through the emotion, because for me, recording that album was an emotional roller coaster, man. It was like a up and down, you know what I mean? So yeah, it was a lot. So young
Yeah.
in your 20s, trying to find your manhood, trying to be who you think you're supposed to be out here in this
I
world,
think that
man.
gets forgotten a lot when we talk about rappers, and
100%.
I think a lot of people forget that a lot of these classic albums that we talk about, the artists were like 20
Yeah.
years old when they made them. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
They're saying, "Oh, you were saying this and saying that." It's like, think about what you were saying when
Come on, man.
I know I was
Yeah.
looking at that shit when I was in my early 20s.
Wow.
That's what I'm
So I
saying.
think
Like,
a lot of people forget that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
you
Mm.
need to give
And,
much
and
more
then
credit to these people. Like the
and
stuff that
see
you
how
were making at
100%.
that age, crazy.
right and see how you guys brought it right back. What I was saying back then, like I said, I was talking big trash, man. But
Right.
a lot of our so-called peers at that time was subliminally throwing shots at us.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
a lot of
Really?
our peers, yeah, they were throwing subliminal shots at us.
Could you give
J.
us any
Rue,
names? J. Rue.
Gary.
yeah,
Wow.
Tribe, I mean, well, Tip,
What?
Tip
Jungle
was on the
Brothers.
album though, really?
Rest in peace, my brother Dave from De La.
Wow.
It was like a lot of little shots that was flowing, man. If it wasn't there,
Wow.
Why do you think that was though? Because you
I
guys
think
work
because
together
I
sometimes.
mean, it's like I don't know. I think people think we rode in on a magic carpet with Pete. You know what I mean? Being
Right.
that we had Pete behind us. You know what I mean? Like I think people are looking at it like, oh, these dudes are just put-ons. You know what I mean? Like they're just a
Mm.
free ride type guy. They're not earning their way. You know what I mean? So I guess the
Wow.
little spanking had to go on. You know what I mean?
Wow.
What's the word I'm trying to say? Behoove you. I behoove you to re-listen to each his own. Listen to Q-Tip's verse on
Yeah.
it.
You know what? I'm definitely gonna do that.
Definitely gonna go back now and
Because
listen
when
to
you
that.
mentioned Tribe, I'm thinking he's on the album, so
Yeah.
that'd be insane. Yeah.
Go back and remember what I said about myself and my lyrics and how I felt about them and how
Mm.
I felt about my lyrics. I felt like I was talking like when I went back and listened years later. I was like, man, I was talking big trash on this joint. Like, why was I talking about
Mm.
this stuff? So much, so much shit. You know what I mean? Like, but listen to his verse on there. Like
100%.
Listen to that
he
right as
did
soon
not.
as we done.
I don't think he was a big fan of I and I.
Wow.
I
Wow.
don't think he was a big fan of the concept, the idea. I don't think he was a big fan of that back then. And
Wow.
this is
Wow.
my first time really like sharing this. You know what I mean?
Nah, I appreciate it. I'm actually, but
That's
mine's blown. I'm
exclusive right
actually sitting
there.
there thinking,
That's type of hype
did it?
exclusive right there.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
Wow.
I don't
Wow.
think he
Wow.
really was a huge fan of what we were doing. So if you listen to his verse, you'll hear it.
Definitely.
That
So I was
before.
gonna ask when that sort of was released. I know it's not the actual product, but when it was released and it got more attention for people that maybe never got a chance to hear it, because obviously what happened with Electra and that. Did you and the rest of the group ever consider sort of reuniting or doing more? Because it must have got you guys a bit more attention again outside of your camp and outside locally. Do you know what I mean?
I think brothers had to grow first
Mm.
and become men. You know what I mean? Before we could even go back and look at any type of like reuniting or oh my bad, y'all, linking up in terms of being together, you know what I mean, as a group.
Yeah.
I think there was some growth that had to take place, and I think that's what took place because now, Rob, particularly Rob and I are definitely in a place where we are wanting to work together and wanting to
That's
create.
cool. Mm.
And Dolo is now he has his own restaurant that he's been running for about 15 years now.
Okay.
a vegan restaurant. So he's been doing that, and he's more than willing to sponsor things dealing with us and dealing with I and stuff like that. So he's more he's also in on the he would be in on the financial side of things in terms of if
Mm.
we were really would focused on like putting together some music and coming back forward, like coming forward with some more stuff. So
That's
Mm.
dope.
yeah,
So
so yeah,
is there any controversy around the I name? Do you own it, or is it linked to a label, or can you still record under
nah,
the I
it's
name?
not really it's not really linked to anything. I don't own it. You know what I mean? I don't even want to own it. You know what I mean? It's crazy, but I
Mm.
don't want it. But it's not linked to anything like that. I think Jolo might have some type of ownership to it with
Okay.
that MLD situation and stuff like
Right.
that. So he may have some type of ownership, which is if it's with him, it's safe. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Mm.
Or if it's with Rob, it's safe. You know what I mean? Long I'm not tripping. You know what I mean? I'm not tripping at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like I said,
Mm.
I was more wanting to make the beats and create the sonics of it than anything. But yeah, I'm not really tripping. But it's crazy how people really revere that album like that. It really trips me out.
Really do. Yeah. It's love
Yeah, definitely.
all over.
Mm.
And I've always looked at it like Rob and Pete kept that album afloat. You know what I mean? Like Rob lyrically and Pete with the beats. You know what I mean? And me, I felt like I was a sprinkler. I just kind of sprinkled some good things here and there. You know what I mean? That's how I always looked at
It all
that.
came together nice, man.
For real.
Everyone had their input, man. It all came together, man. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. Even Jolo, when he rhymed in Creole, you know what I mean? I stood in the booth with him and coached him through that joint. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Yeah, it was the energy was always there. The contribution of energy was
Definitely.
all.
That's dope.
So you've got you mentioned before some of the things you've worked on beats, and obviously you've got projects that you can give a shout out at the end of the episode as well. But what would you say that's come from your hands are you proud of the most? It can be a project, it can be a beat you produced. What are you most proud of that you've done musically?
Oh man, everything, man, everything that I've
Mm.
been able to like put out there. Anything that I've been able to like put out there and get a good reaction from.
Yeah,
The J Live records. You know
Dope.
what I mean? When I think
yeah.
of those, that's what really comes to mind. Wonderlust and the J Live records. Them
Mm.
that's not Empire Hunter J. Especially them that's not, because there's no record in hip hop music that sounds like
Sounds like
those
that.
records.
Mm.
There's no, and I give thanks to the Most High for that. You know what I mean? Just putting helping me grasp that idea out the universe. You know what I mean? Like, boom, here it is. Um, and having him grasp the idea of even rhyming over that part that goes from slow to fast.
Mm.
Because
Mm.
when I presented that beat at first to Rob, I presented that beat to Rob and Mechalicious, and they kind of just onced over it, like, oh, okay, cool, all right, and we kept it moving.
Mm.
And then I presented it to J Live, and he was like, yo, this is dope. He's like, yo, but I want to rhyme over that part too. I was like, what part?
Yeah, yeah.
He's like, the part that goes from slow to fast. He said, I want to rhyme over that part. I was like,
Wow.
what? He's like, yeah, I'm gonna write to that part too. I was like, all right, bet. And then he came with it. We went in the studio, and the
Mm.
engineer, I give him kind of co-production credit because he was able to bring that idea to the drum machine and make it work in the drum machine. I had to do it manually.
Mm.
When I put it on
Right.
tape and started the drum machine at 50 BPMs, then I did it manually, like sped it up through the tempo change, sped it up to reach the tempo, then change the segment, and then it'll come in with the beat like that. Um,
Mm.
but he did it. He was able to program it and have it do it like that. So then once we got the beat laid like that, J Live did what he did, and that was it. And if you listen to the lyrics, it's the rise and fall of a MC.
Mm.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So it's
And that goes
perfectly,
perfectly with the beat, with the
yes,
slow and the pause.
Exactly. Mm.
amazing, bro. Like he's a genius, man. He's like a lyrical genius, man.
Nah,
So
shout out to J Live, man. We follow each
always,
other.
Definitely.
always,
Spoken a couple
always shout out
times.
to J
Yeah,
Live.
big shout out to J Live.
Absolutely. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's my standout. Wanderlust, half man, half amazing, because that
Mm.
was me producing for my brother.
Yeah.
You know, what I mean? Like,
Yeah, that's special. Mm.
And that
yeah,
made his
like,
debut album. So that
yeah,
must have been a
like,
moment.
Yeah.
and like, I know y'all interviewing me, and I will definitely be referring to him and talking to him and talking about Pete and everything. But I
Mm.
just wanted to say that he's one of the few producers who's had like at least three of the or four or more of the goats in production rap over his beat, because he's
Mm.
had RZA rhyme over his beat, he's had Dilla rhyme over his beat, he's
Mm.
had Q-Tip rhyme over one of his beats, he's had Dr. Dre rhyme over one of his beats.
Ooh,
That-
So it's
mm.
four right
what
there.
was that?
Large Professor,
Large
Yeah.
Pro.
um,
Yep.
Diamond D. I don't know if Diamond D is rhymed. I think Diamond D is rhymed over one of his beats, but he's rhymed over two of Diamond's records. He's
Yeah.
rhymed on two of Diamond's records. But you know what I mean? Like
I've never
not a
thought
lot
about
of
that.
producers can say that, man.
Nah, for real.
Mm. Very
I never
true.
thought about it until you
He,
just said
he,
that.
Exactly.
he's Mount Rushmore of
For
production,
real.
hip hop production,
Mm.
has rhymed on this dude's beats. Like, so where does that put him?
Mm, that's
Where
true.
does that put him? Yeah, y'all gotta forgive me because sometimes I get passionate about that shit. 'Cause it's
Nah, hey,
like
so we love, man.
how people don't see this shit, like, you know what I mean? But yeah, but I say all of that to say, I don't even know what the hell I was talking about. But yeah, that's how I feel about that, man. That's how I
Nah,
feel
we
about
agree, man. We're in agreement.
it. Yeah,
Um,
it's just crazy.
how do
Mm.
you coming up from Mount Vernon? You spoke earlier about the talent that's come from there.
Yeah.
How do you feel about hip hop in NY right now? New York had a sound when I was growing up. I spent a lot of time there, and obviously, that's kind of my home away from home kind of thing.
Mm.
Kind of feels now that New York doesn't have the sound that it used to have. Like there's records I can play, and it puts me right back in Brooklyn when I was a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
I can't listen to some New York rap now, and it puts me in Atlanta. Do you know what I'm saying? How
Mm-hmm.
do you feel about where New York music is now? Because New York had an identity, and I'm not sure that it's there anymore. How do you feel about it?
I think New York hip hop got lost on the radio. I
Mm.
think when they really were trying to work for the radio, I think that's when we lost it. And like those underground hip hop shows kind of like faded away a little bit, like when we
Yeah,
lost
Mm.
those things and we started gaining more of this type of, flex type of energy and those type of DJs and things. That's when I think we lost it, because it's like, those other regional sounds came in and they were doing their own thing, and then
mm,
they became the popular sound. So then
Yeah.
now New York is in emulation mode instead of innovation mode.
exactly.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well said. Mm.
I think that's where the struggle, the problem went. You know what I mean? We
Mm.
we went from innovation mode to emulation mode.
Mm,
Now we're emulating everything around us instead of,
Right.
and then how Griselda won is because they used the old formula and brought it in as innovation.
right.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And I'm not nothing, definitely not knocking them. Of course, I love that they did that, because they brought attention back to New York. Rap in New York. You know what I mean? And then cats start saying, "Oh, okay, we can do this type of music as well as that type."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what I think, and they help bring balance back. You know what I mean? They
Mm,
help bring balance back by bringing that gritty sound, that darker sound. But cats like Large Pro and Primo, Pete, those guys never left that sound. You know what I mean?
Mm.
People left them.
Right.
You know, artists left them. They didn't leave that sound though. You know what I mean? And then those guys came from up north, Buffalo, Rochester, those places. You know, came with that sound and you know, revived it. You know what I mean? And was like, yo, it's been here, but here we're gonna wake you up to it again. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And then they start
Great
using
point.
guys like Premier and Pete, you know what I mean, to produce their music and stuff. So
Mm.
Absolutely right, because I heard Primo talking, and he was like, "I'm always gonna do boom bap. Like, there's no other production you're gonna find me doing, because that's me."
Mm.
Pete Rock says something very similar, and if you think about it, Pete is still making like amazing music to this day.
Yeah.
The Sky Zoo album is 5 mics.
Yeah, man.
Album.
Guy
So
Zoo said something about that. He said that he was bugging out because he's like, it was like he never missed a step. Yo, it was like he coming straight out the '90s, right to sit right next to you, you know what I mean? With the drum machine from back then, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Boom, you know what I mean? So yeah, Sky Zoo had said a compliment him
Very
on
the Flea Lord project. I think that's Flea Lord's best work. Do you know what I mean? Still, the Pete produced one as well.
Smoke Desert album. That's an amazing, great produced album. So he's still making that like you said, music from the soul. Like that's basically it. The
quality
music to your ribs.
music.
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
No doubt.
I'm very blessed and humble to be related to that dude. You know what I mean? I was looking at him like, yo, you a wild guy, man. Like, just yesterday I was listening to Reminisce and it was just giving me chills. And I was just like, yo, you really, really heard that record. Like, you heard it. Like, you heard it. Like, gosh, yo, you heard it. Like, I can't even say it no other way. Like, you just heard that record. Like, you heard everything. Like, whoo. I was like, man, because the person who played it, they played the original first, and then they played Reminisce, and I was just like, wow. When he took that and put it there, and what people don't know is that Pete is actually singing on that record. He's singing backgrounds on there, like during the verses when it's going. Ooh,
Really, that's him.
He's doing it with the sample. Like you gotta listen to it. Like listen into it. You'll hear him.
Wow.
He did some backgrounds on it.
I've learned like 3 separate things just on this.
This is what I'm saying, man. Literally. Yeah. So I was, it's like we mentioned before about 90s New York hip hop, and obviously for some of our people that might be listening or watching, what have you, they may be a lot younger and then may not be up on the whole Pete Rock, CL Smooth and the whole, I and the whole movement. How important would you say it is for fans of hip hop, newer fans of hip hop, to go back and listen to what we call classics today? Because I speak to some people and there seems to be a lot of disrespect around iconic artists, legendary artists, classic albums.
Old and all of that, yeah.
There's just this instant comparison thing. Oh, he's better than Tupac. He's better than Biggie. He's better. There doesn't seem to be like a respect there. How important would you say it is to do your homework on older projects and classic projects to be part of the culture?
I'll keep it as basic as I can. Learn from your history. Learn your history, or you'll be doomed to repeat it. Learn it. So you might be in that studio thinking, oh yeah, I ain't gonna listen to this album or that album or this particular album, and not know the true formula of putting together a dope classic album. And here you are wasting your money making this stuff that nobody ends up liking because you didn't do no real research or real homage, you know what I mean, to what came before you. You know what I mean? It's very important in my eyes that you show homage and check for what came before. Even if check for it to see if you don't like it. You know what I mean? Even if you don't like, even if you don't like it, you know what I mean? Like I check for some of that drill stuff, you know what I mean? Just to see like what's going on and hear what's going on. I'll watch the little videos about their lives, about how their beefs go on and stuff like that, where they be taking place and stuff like that, and different cities and all that. Cause I travel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I never know where you're gonna end up. You could end up on some block or something, thinking it's a sweet block, not knowing that this hood and that hood meet right here and fight every Tuesday. You know what I mean? And you out there on a Tuesday, la around. You know what I mean? So being hip and having knowledge, man, it's a good thing. Like having knowledge of your past, having knowledge of what's in front of you, your present, and of course, gaining knowledge of your future is always a beautiful thing, man.
Right.
Like, why wouldn't you want to do that? You know what I mean? Like, and that's the thing. I think that's where like there's a thing, hip hop ignorance. You know what I mean? Like there's
Definitely.
ignorance in hip hop. You know what I mean? And that's where it lies, like in you not wanting to get that knowledge, even if you don't care for it. Like just at least expose yourself to it. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like so you can
Agreed.
say I've experienced that and I have this about it. Or
Right.
you
100.
can I can't just write off all drill rap and like I tweeted out the other day a while back. I was like two brothers who I felt their deaths were unjust and were not didn't sit well with me was Young Dolph
Golf,
and
man.
Pop
Yeah.
Smoke. I
Yeah.
am
Yeah.
not a gangbanger and I'm not a hustler or a drug dealer. But what those two young men represented, like Pop Smoke to me had a lot of potential.
Definitely.
Amazing voice,
Mm.
good looking dude, you know what I mean? A lot of potential to maybe do something really great and maybe lead cats away from the gang, like, to
Mm.
like saying, hey, you can eat
Mm.
and you don't have to, it's not about being soft or being a sucker. You can eat and still do what you do, you know what I mean? And not have to murder nobody to get whatever you gotta get. And then Young Dolph was like a community man, you know what I mean? He was a
Yeah.
man of the people, you know what I mean? So for them two to be gone is like crazy. So like, and I'm not, I don't, I guess they would probably look at me and say, oh, he's a conscious rapper, whatever the case may be. I'm a thinking man, you know what I mean?
Mm. Mm.
And conscious means you're alive or you're dead. I've been conscious, I've been awake, I've been alive, you know what I mean? I give thanks to the Most High for every day that I'm alive, you know what I mean? I am a thinking man though. I'm not a knuckle dragger, you know what I
Mm.
mean?
Mm.
That is the difference
100.
between you and me. So
That leads in
yeah,
perfectly
that's
to
why
my
I can
last
look at
question.
that's why I can look at a brother like Young Dolph and see things in him, and look at Pop Smoke and see things in him, and see that their deaths were unjust and untimely and irregular and irrational. You know what I mean?
Nipsey too.
100%.
Nipsey was
Yeah.
Nipsey
in that
Hussle, you
same
know what I mean? Salute to Nip, you know what I
bus.
mean?
Mm.
Cats like that, you know what I mean? And just having that overstanding. So yeah, so and going all back to that New York representation, man. I tell you, it went from innovation to emulation, man, and I think that's where we lost it at. And now it's like they like I said, they packaged that situation and brought it as innovation and
Mm.
kind of revived New York for what it is. You know what I
Mm.
mean? So
How that leads
100.
in really nicely to my last question. How does spirituality play a part in your music? Because clearly you're a very spiritual guy. You just said you'd be labeled a conscious rapper. I would never have called you a conscious rapper. I would have just said that you're clearly in tune with your religion, your
Mm.
belief. That's just who you are. I wouldn't say that
mhm,
you specifically try to sound conscious. I just think that that's just who you are. So
mhm,
Yeah.
your family's clearly from Jamaica, same as mine.
mhm,
Um,
mhm.
so how does that play a part in you
Big
basically?
up all yard man too, Big up
Big up,
all
big
of
up.
Yes.
real up yard man them, yo. So yo, yeah, but for me, it's just I honestly don't try to put it into my hip hop as much. I do try to teach without being preachy. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I try that. What I mean, if I'm a rap, if I'm writing or if I'm rhyming, I try to do that. I try to inject lines that might, give you spark a little thought or something. You know what I mean? But not too preachy. I always try to walk with the Most High, no matter what I'm doing.
Mm.
Whether I'm back here on this drum machine creating, or sitting down writing writing a rhyme. You know what I mean? Whatever works, I'm trying to create. I always try to keep the Most High in the front of it. You know what I mean? So that it comes out in a good manner. It comes out beneficial to my people. It comes out beneficial to someone or something.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it's two sides to this coin, yo, and that's it. Like,
Yeah.
and you're not sitting on the middle of no coin, yo. It's you on Jaja's side, or you dealing with the negative and the wicked. You know what I mean? You're not sitting on the middle of no coin. You know what I
Right.
mean? So, as much as I love those guys, I know that what they're saying is not the greatest of things. You know what I mean? I know that. I'm very aware of that. So I, as myself, try not to ride that. I try to give an alternative to create balance, like we spoke
Yeah.
about earlier. Balance. Shout out to Children of Zeus, because I love that song. Balance is so sick.
Yeah.
But anyway, big up to them, Connie Khan and Tyler. Big love, man. My brothers out of Manchester. Did I say that right?
Birmingham.
Manchester.
Birmingham.
You say it again.
Birmingham. They're
Said it
from.
right, Manchester, right?
No, they're from Birmingham.
Oh, where they from?
They're like
Birmingham.
Midland.
Oh, okay. I thought they were from Manchester.
Yeah, I swear they're from Birmingham. I think that's the duo, right? Children of Zeus,
Yeah.
the two
Yeah.
rappers. Yeah, I swear
Yeah.
they're from. I swear they're Brummies. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty
Okay.
sure that's where they're from.
Not even certain.
Connie and Tyler.
Yeah, they got a very nice kind of jazzy slum village kind of vibe going on.
Yeah.
They're really
Yeah.
dope. Man. Really dope. Those are my guys. But
Dope.
yeah, but I was on a roll. I forget what I was talking about, guys. I was on a nice little
the role that spirituality plays in your.
Praising your-
Sorry.
Yeah. So
Mm.
I put I put my way of life. I try to keep it in the front, but not too much. And if like I don't want to use it as a marketing tool. You know what I mean?
Mm.
It's just a part of who I am. You know what I mean? A part of how I conduct myself. You know what I mean? And how I try to move throughout this time that we have here on this planet. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, man.
I don't want to. I'm not here to market Rasta. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm here to just give you what I have as far as talent and artistry, and incorporate what is in my mind in it. You know what I mean? And Rastafari is a part of what's on my mind. You know what I mean? So that will permeate my music.
Right.
So I guess finally, unless my brother's got another question for you from me, is what is next for Grap Luva?
Oh man,
What's on the horizon?
Back here trying to get this drum machine working, and I mean, work the drum machine out and keep making dope beats so I can do some production. I just want to do a lot of production. I want to produce people, you know what I mean? And
who would you love to work with?
and hopefully be able to eat a little bit from it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Definitely got a EP coming with Robbo. I'm not gonna rhyme. He's gonna be doing majority of rhyming. I may slide on a song, maybe, but I really want to focus on the beats. I got some dope beats. Played him some stuff. As you saw on Twitter, I have that little 1 minute video that's has little tracks and stuff going. So some of those beats are gonna be like for the EP and stuff like that.
Okay.
Just want to do that, man. Just want to make some more dope beats and produce some people. It's a dude on Twitter. He's from Baltimore. His name is Norm Regular, and he's a good MC. I want to do a track for him. I would love to do a track for Droog or Fahim. You know what I mean? God Fahim. Just want to make dope stuff, man. You know what I mean? And I want to do music that people are gonna hear it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
I wanted to get out there. You know what I mean? I'm used to get out. So yeah.
No, that's dope.
Oh, we'll certainly check for it when it comes, bro. Certainly.
And
100%.
hopefully we get that vinyl pressing of the original I&I album.
Listen, man.
Well, I was shocked to learn that the one I've been listening to for all these years isn't the album that it should have been. I can't believe that.
Man. Yeah, the first the album starts with a beat produced by Rob O. It's an interlude beat. The first, like, Pete's talking over the beat, and that beat is produced by Rob O. Wow. And then there's another. Rob O did 2 interludes on that album. He did an interlude that comes on before Crossroads, where he just looped up some Marvin Gaye stuff, just looped it up real quick, and then the intro he did, where Pete's talking over the beat.
Is there going to be some sampling issues then? If
we got some interludes, we got some samples of
clearance issues. Yeah,
you mentioned Marvin, boy.
We'll figure it out. Maybe we just go hard and just press it up. $1,000 a copy.
Let them come find me.
1,000 copies at $100 a copy. So we'll figure it out.
Yeah, man.
Man, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Guys. I hope I was an ample enough guest.
Absolutely.
Trust me.
I've learned so much in this hour.
So much.
So I'm gonna go back and check that Q-Tip verse for sure. And I'm gonna
100%.
100%.
Shout out to Q-Tip.
Big shout out to
Q-Tip. Tip, I know you was hot at us, bro. I know you was.
I'll tell you what we do. We'll have Q-Tip on next week.
Yeah. Just said something, bro. You should have just said something. It's all good.
Wow.
You could have talked it out, man. But
that's crazy.
You said it on the verse, so yeah.
We'll get Q-Tip on and iron it out. We'll get Q-Tip on and
get him on. I need to talk to him about it.
We'll get it all ironed out then.
Yeah, I need a why. I need an answer.
Wow.
Listen to the verse. You'll hear what I'm talking about.
I'm gonna check it out literally as soon as we kill
this. Is done.
And everybody that's gonna peep this is probably gonna be like, "Oh my god, let me go back and listen." Yeah, it's all good.
No, thank you, man. Thank you.
How Mike said, "Young and innocent," then right? Yeah, so, but not innocent, but young. You know.
That's it.
Well, the My Type of Hype podcast. I'm sure you've enjoyed this one. I certainly have.
Definitely.
An absolute pleasure to have Grap on this week.
Yes. Instrumental album coming soon. I'm working on an instrumental album, another one. I'm not gonna release the title of it yet because it's not. Yeah, I just want to hold on to that. Robo coming soon, trying to do an EP for him. So I'm focused on those 2 things right now.
Dope.
Nice.
EP, and then from there, whatever comes after that. We just rock.
We look forward to hearing those, man. Let us know. We'll plug them as well.
Roddy Rod, Camber, my man. Let the Dirt Say Amen, aka Tim Dirty Church. Shout out to them. My man Sean Bourne, my man Quartermain. Robbo. My man Money Taz, my man Tito, my man Terrence, all my Sandbox brothers, Jolo's Kitchen, 412. No, I'm sorry, 49 Lawton Street, New Rochelle, New York. Go eat there. It's good food, good for your soul, and good service. So next time y'all in New York, make sure y'all
I'll be back next
100%.
Y'all get to check it out, man.
Nice, man.
Shout out to my moms. My mother turned 92 in March.
Oh, respect.
Survived.
Yes, blessings to the queen.
Yo, trust me, survived some real stuff. Was blessed to see 92. I know she's walking with the Most High because so many things tried to stop her from being here, and she's still here. So God bless her. Shout out to my big bro Pete. Love you, big bro. And my sisters, my wife, my daughters, all of that. Word up.
Love that. Love that.
What a sign off from Grap there.
Isn't it?
It's been a pleasure.
It's been an honor, man.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But no, fellas, really, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate
No,
it.
thank you for coming on, man. We appreciate you.
Yeah, man, this was fun. This was fun. Good break in the day. Chill out, kick it with the fellas. You know what I mean? They're at night, guys. Everybody who's watching, it's day for me. It's night for them. I salute them and I thank them for taking their night time and taking their time and
Anytime, man.
Nah,
Anytime.
it's been a privilege, man. It's been an honor. Thank you, man.
Definitely.
Thank you. So yeah, we'll catch you guys on the next one next week.
Mhm.
Another special guest, perhaps. Who knows? But we'll see you on the next one, man.
Peace and love.
Yeah,
Maybe
man.
I'll be back.
Peace and love. 100%. So done.
One love.
Thanks again, bro. Peace, everyone. Next week.
Peace. Good.